What's today? August 14th. Oh, yeah, I guess I just start at some point. That's how these work. Hello, everyone. Today is, or was, August 14th, 2023, and I just saw Barbie for the second time. I saw it the first time a weekend or two ago. Not 100% sure. So, it's been a couple weeks since Barbie's come out. I saw it in the standard definition version. My ticket was $14.42, I believe. And there were about 6 other people in the theater besides me. So there were only about 7 people. That was probably the biggest difference between the first showing I saw that was a packed theater and this showing that had 7 people. When I booked the ticket, it said I was going to be the only one there, and I thought I was going to have the theater to myself for like 5 or 10 minutes. Like, there was no one there even as the trailers were rolling. Speaking of trailers, the biggest difference I noticed between my last showing and this showing is that this showing, the trailers seem to be a lot more kid-friendly. The last one had the Hunger Games prequel, and nothing particularly interesting, but there was a lot of new movies that I saw the trailers for this time, and there did not seem to be much overlap. There was one. These trailers, Illumination is making a duck movie with Kumail Nanjiani. That'll exist. It's called Migration. There's a new Disney princess movie with Wish, called Wish. It had maybe Patrick Stewart as a goat, maybe not Patrick Stewart, I'm not sure. Some voice actor. There's a Paul Dano GameStop movie called Dumb Money that had a pretty big cast. It's Paul Dano, the 9/11 eye patch guy who dated Ariana Grande, Pete Davidson. Nick Offerman is in there. Oh man, who else? Paul Dano's wife looked famous in the movie. And who's the Green Hornet guy? That guy. Doesn't matter. Pineapple Express dude. The friend of James Franco. Doesn't matter. It's a big movie. I don't know. It looks fine. All of these movies look like movies. None of them. Actually, I lied. There was a movie that I was particularly interested in. It's the new Paw Patrol movie. Paw Patrol: The Mighty Movie. I know almost nothing about Paw Patrol, but the trailer looked pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. And the Blue Beetle movie with Miguel from Cobra Kai. I forget his name. He's pretty good. That movie looks pretty solid. I like Miguel. Susan Sarandon is in that, which I thought was pretty cool. All right, those were the trailers. So I will now attempt to recap the entire plot of Barbie that I saw like probably like 15 minutes ago. And if I need help, I will look at my notebook. So, opening shot, they do a 2000 Space Odyssey thing with the oh yeah, spoilers. I'm just gonna be talking about Barbie the whole time. So if you haven't seen Barbie yet, I don't know, go watch it. For $15, the TLDR for $15, I thought it was a pretty good movie. This is the second time I watched it. I would watch it again. So, opening shot, 2001: A Space Odyssey. It apes that, pun intended, but actually there are no apes in this version. Just little girls playing with dolls, and then you see Margot Robbie, Barbie, bleh. And wow, maybe it's the lighting, maybe it's like a forced perspective with like, this really tall adult and all these other little girls just kind of placed around the screen. But man, that opening shot really gets you going. This is a good-looking movie in total. The production, I wrote this down somewhere. Sarah Greenwood did the set design, and that was, I think, one of the most impressive parts about the movie. Opening shot, opening scene, Barbie is cool. There's like the real world and there's like the fake world or Barbie land, and they kind of intermingle, but not really, but also sometimes they do. Then we get to Barbie land and we see a Barbie wake up montage, which is really fun. The music in that scene is really good. The music in this movie as a whole is really good. Barbie wakes up, has a grand old time, waves hi to her friends. Then Barbie goes to the beach and sees Ken, played by Ryan Gosling. This is going to be a little difficult to talk about because there's like, I think, 8 or 9 different Barbies, and I think there's like 6 different Kens. So Margot Robbie's Barbie is called Stereotypical Barbie. I will attempt to refer to Stereotypical Barbie the character, played by Margot Robbie, as Stereo Barbie, or Stereo. Hopefully it makes sense as I go along, and I'll just call Ken, the Ken, Ryan Gosling, or like Ken, and then there's like an evil Ken, played by Simu Liu, who's also a lot of fun. There's really not a whole lot of important characters in this movie. There's Stereotypical Barbie, then there's like a bunch of other Barbies. There's Ken, then there's like evil Ken Simu Liu, who's not really evil, but he's like the opposing force to our Ryan Gosling Ken. And then there's American Ferrera's mom character, whose name I cannot remember. And then there's American Ferrera's daughter, whose name I want to say is Sasha. And then there's like Mattel CEO Will Ferrell. He's not really that important. Anywho, Barbie wakes up. Barbie has a great time waking up, saying hi to all her friends. There's a wonderful set design. I believe all the Barbie houses are real, like real non-CG, and it looks so weird. The set design is so impressive because everything looks so fake and plastic. But to my knowledge, most of it is really there. There's a lot to drink in from this movie. It's just, it's bright and colorful. It's fun to look at. You're never really bored when you're watching Barbie. It's all pretty short movie too. I want to say, not short, it's a good length. I want to say just shy of 2 hours, an hour 57 minutes. We'll see if that's right. Barbie wakes up. Barbie sees Ken, Ryan Gosling, and they talk, and Ryan Gosling wants stereotypical Barbie's attention, and he can't really get it, so he goes to impress Barbie. Ken goes to run into a wave, and he bumps into it, and he goes flying, and I didn't laugh this time when Ken runs into it until Michael Cera, who plays Alan, who's another like character that exists but doesn't really do anything for the story, at least not in my opinion. Alan just screams. He's like, "No!" It's so heartfelt. It's so sad. I write that down. Oh yes, Helen Mirren is the narrator. That name sounds familiar. Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Yeah, the music's good. When does he scream no? Blah, 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 blah. I guess I missed that part. Anyways, so Alan screams no, and Ken goes flying through the air, and this was like the first big laugh I had this time. Because the theater was so much, or there were fewer people in the theater, the audience was smaller, none of the jokes really felt like they hit as hard the second time, which makes sense. There were still a couple times where I burst out laughing. The Alan scream was one of them, and I'll try to think of the other ones as we come along. So, Ken fake hurts himself by running into this wave. Then Barbie takes him to like the mobile ambulance, and then really hope the mic's still working. I'm gonna be really pissed if like this whole thing is unusable because I'm not gonna re-record this. Then Ken is fine and he heals like mid-sentence as one of the Barbies is talking. And then Ken asks if he can go to Barbie's house that night for a party. Barbie says yes, probably a little bit more dialogue. Then we cut to the party. Again, the music is just so swinging. The production design is beautiful. The dancing is so well choreographed. The music is just really hitting. Everything is so beautiful looking. You have our whole main cast dancing. At one point, Simu Liu, Evil Ken, is dancing with Barbie, and this upsets good Ken, Ryan Gosling. So Ryan Gosling goes to dance with Barbie, and then they dance, and then they have a good time, and then everyone's having a good time, and then Barbie's like, have you guys ever thought about dying before? And there's like an uncomfortable silence, and then Barbie's like, well, I'm dying to dance, and then the whole party goes back on. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-bum, party is great. Then party's great. Then Ken and Barbie are outside the party, and Ken is like, hey, can I stay over tonight because we're boyfriend-girlfriend? And Barbie's like, no, because it's girls' night. And Ken's like, dang. That's so sad. Anyways, Barbie wakes up the next day. There's this thing, as Ryan Gosling is so good in this movie. When Barbie tells him it's girls' night and that she's going to go hang out with the other Barbies, she goes to her house and we see the house, but in the right half of the shot, we see Ryan Gosling still like kind of doing his dance from earlier, and it's just so good. The shot is really nice. Ryan Gosling is just so good. All of his mannerisms, all of his smirks, his laughs. At one point, he just shouts "Sublime!" and it made me burst out laughing. In a theater with like 7 other people in it, 6 other people, would be my guess. Anywho, Barbie wakes up the next day, and now the song is the same, but it's all a little sadder. Barbie's montage isn't nearly as clean. And she doesn't like slowly levitate down into her car from the roof, and her shower is cold, and her waffles are burnt, etc., etc. Her milk is expired. So then she goes to the beach again, just like yesterday or the day before. And then also she's no longer standing on her toes. She's standing flat on her feet because Barbie's like the species, the dolls, the ideas. This is a cerebral movie, but we'll get into that later. Barbie's flat on her feet, and she shows it to all her other Barbies. It is getting hot in this parking garage. I didn't drink any water. I brought fish jerky, which was very tasty, but now I am very thirsty, and it is very warm in here, and I don't want to have the AC on to mess with the sound quality. So womp womp. I think I might just got bitten by a bug. Tis what tis. Anywho, Barbie's like, hey guys, my feet are flat and I'm thinking about death. And then one of the other Barbies is like, hey, you should go see Weird Barbie. And when I saw this the first time, I was like, that's going to be Kate McKinnon. And then I was right. So then Barbie, stereotypical Barbie, goes to see Weird Barbie, and Weird Barbie's like, hey there, this is not good, but you're the girl playing with you in the real world is sad, and she is transferring her sadness onto you, so you, Barbie, have to go into the real world to go make this girl not sad so that you can also not be sad. It's kind of confusing whether or not Barbie wants to do anything because she wants it, or if she's just feeling this because the girl playing with her wants it. After 2 viewings, I'm not entirely clear on how that all works. The movie seems to be kind of uninterested in its whole multiverseness, which is kind of refreshing, truth be told. At one point, Will Ferrell is just like, think of Barbie Land like a town in Sweden, and that works. Tis fine. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Then Weird Barbie is like, okay, Barbie, do this quest. And then she's like, you can either have this heel or this Birkenstock. and if you pick the heel, everything goes back to normal, and if you pick the Birkenstock, you go into the real world. And they're ripping off Matrix, but I don't really get it because, well, number one, the Matrix is dumb. Number two, Barbie's like, I would like to go back into Barbie Land, please, where I don't have cellulite, and I'm always happy. And then Kate McKinnon's like, no, you have to pick the Birkenstock. I don't know. I'm overthinking it, and it is just, in fact, a joke. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me as, like, Barbie actively refuses the quest, and then it's just thrust on her anyways. And maybe that's the point. I don't know. Anyways, Barbie gets ready to go into the real world. I'm kind of cruising through here. Am I missing any notes? Margot Robbie's really good in this. She gives a lot of depth and emotion and heart to the character, and she can be happy and sad and upset and frustrated and, you know, full of confusion. She does everything the character needs. I really like Barbie. I really like Ken. Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie are great in this. Their chemistry is great in this. Whenever the two of them are on screen, everything is just wonderful. Yeah, the music is really good. Okay. Barbie leaves. Barbie's getting ready to leave. They play Cyndi Lauper. The music in this movie is phenomenal. Girls just want to have fun, except it's instrumentals. And then Simu Liu, evil Ken, is like, hey, Ryan Gosling Ken, there's no way you'll go to Barbie. There's no way you'll go with Barbie to the real world. And then Ryan Gosling Ken is like, yeah, I will. And then Barbie leaves, and she's driving away. Speaking of driving, I don't know, weird sound. So I have a real wheel here. So Barbie's driving away, and then Ken is in the back of the car, and she screams, and then Ken screams, and then Barbie's like, what are you doing here? And then Ken's like, I'm also in this movie. And then Barbie's like, okay, I guess. And then there's a little montage of Barbie going from Barbie Land to the real world, and it's really fun because it's like, oh, well, at first it's a car ride, then it's a snowmobile, then it's outer space, then they're on a boat, and it's really cheesy and goofy looking and fake, but it's fun. I really enjoyed it both times through. They don't wear it out too much because there's a lot of characters that end up going to and from Barbie Land, but it never really felt overplayed to me, which is nice, but they do intentionally cut that sequence short, like the third time it's shown. We'll get there when we get there. What is that sound? I don't know. Sorry. And then bum. Bam, 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 bam. Barbie makes it into the real world with Ken, and they're roller skating somewhere in Los Angeles, and immediately Barbie's like, I don't feel the same here, and Ken's like, I also don't feel the same here, but Barbie is very much unhappy with, what is that? Is that a tow truck? Are they gonna try to tow me out of here? I'm in my car, and I definitely also get another hour to sit here because that movie was only 2 hours long. I might just stop here for a second. Alright. Well, that truck's also going to come down here at some point, so I guess I can't get too comfortable. Anyways, where were we? Barbie and Ken are in the real world. Barbie knows that she has to go find the girl that's playing with her that's making her sad. So, they go do that immediately. They get arrested because Barbie punches some guy in the face because some guy slapped her butt. And then they decide to get out of their roller skating outfits, so they steal more outfits, and now they're in cowboy and cowgirl, really fun out. The costume design in this movie is also just so good. Now they're in different outfits. Then Barbie's like, okay, I need a second to think about what to do next. Ken, go over there in the corner. And Ken goes, okay. And then Ken goes to Century City, which I guess is a building in Los Angeles or something. I don't know. And it also looks really fake. like it's all been CG'd, but it also looks like the same kind of fake like Barbie Land. And I don't, maybe there's something there, maybe there's not, I don't know. And then Ken gets red-pilled. He sees this cool, I guess, like, masculinity compilation, and then he's like, yeah, this whole being a man thing is kind of cool. And meanwhile, Barbie is sitting on her bench, and she's, like, having all these mind flashes of like, images of the girl she needs to go see. Then oh, there's this really beautiful moment when Barbie is just sitting there on this bus stop bench, and she's like taking in the world around her, and it's all so much that she just has to cry, and she like sheds a tear, and we see like, oh, here's some kids playing, oh, here's, you know, a couple fighting, oh, here's two people laughing. And she sees this old woman, and she's like, you're beautiful. And the woman's like, I know it. And it's like, it's cute, it's funny, it's heartwarming. It's not direct at all. It's very indirect with its like, yeah, it's okay to be a woman, and there's beauty in just being both a woman, and I think also just kind of beauty in being, period. But we'll get back to that later, because that's where the movie kind of gets like real deep. Then Barbie's like, okay, now I know where we need to go. I need to go to this school. And then Ken shows up, and then they go to the school. They go to this school, and then Ken is like, I'm gonna go look in the library for more red pill material. And Barbie's like, cool. I'm gonna go talk to the girl I need to talk to. So Ken like gets books on horses and stuff, because he's really big into horses in this movie. I believe he calls them, there's like the patriarchy is Ken gets super big into the patriarchy, and I think there's a lot to bite into there, and like why Ken embraces the patriarchy, and you know what caused this, and then how does the patriarchy fall apart, and blah 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 blah. I'm just trying to run through the plot now. Ken gets a bunch of books, and also someone is like, hey there, Ken, do you have the time? And he's like, oh, you respect me. And then this person's like, wow, you're weird. Or maybe that's before the library stuff. Anyways, Ken does that. Now Barbie is talking to this girl whose name I'm pretty sure is Sasha, and Barbie's like really confident because all of the Barbies think that they like solved feminism and that every girl is empowered now because of Barbie. And when Barbie, Margot Robbie, stereotypical Barbie, goes to talk to Sasha, I think I called her. I think that's her name. When they talk, Sasha's like, hey Barbie, you are cringe, and you're bad for women, and you set the feminist movement back 50 years, and you represent mass consumption, and blah 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 blah, you're a fascist. She calls Barbie a fascist, and then Barbie goes and cries about the fact that she called her a fascist, but she's like, I don't control the railways or the currency supply. I thought that was pretty funny. There's also, there's also this, like, Mattel is it like an entity in this movie that shows up a lot? Okay, yeah, so I'm fine. I didn't miss anything. Is that truck coming back? I think it is. Alright. Maybe I got a little bit more time. I think so. Okay. Bum. So, as Barbie is crying, as Ken is getting red-pilled, the FBI contacts Mattel and is like, hey there, Mattel, I'm in the FBI. And they contact this like Mattel intern, and they say, hey there, Mattel intern, I'm in the FBI, and 2 of your Barbie dolls got loose, and you've got to go deal with this. And then the Mattel intern is like, oh no, I've got to go run upstairs to go tell the CEO that. So he does that, and then we see the mom of the Sasha character, played by American Ferrera, And he's like, oh, cool drawings. Never mind, though. That's not really important. I need to go talk to the board of CEOs. And American Ferrera's like, you can't do that. And then he goes in there anyways. And then Will Ferrell is leading a meeting. And Will Ferrell is like, hey there, guys. It's so good to be a male CEO in the Barbie movie. And then everyone's like, ha ha ha, yes, we are also men. And then the CE... Oh, here comes the truck back. All right. Should be better. Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So the intern at Mattel goes to talk to Will Ferrell and is like, hey there, 2 Barbies are loose. And he's like, oh, no, that's not good. So then Will Ferrell sends 2 spooky black cars to go pick up Barbie from this school. Barbie gets in the spooky black cars, and then goes to Mattel. And Ryan Gosling Ken sees all this and is like, oh no, this clearly can't be good. And he's like, oh wait, I have a plan. I'll go back to Barbie Land and show them patriarchy, and then I'll be all cool and stuff. So he goes and does that. We see that montage again where he goes back into Barbie Land, and now just put that off in a box for a second. All right, now we follow Barbie. Barbie is at Mattel. Barbie gets to Mattel. Barbie goes to meet the CEOs and is like, wow, there's no women in this boardroom. And Will Ferrell is like, oh, I am the son of a mother. I'm the male family member of a female aunt. You should call me mother. Or maybe that's later. And Barbie's like, okay. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Will Ferrell wants Barbie to get in this Barbie box, which I'll probably talk about again later. Will Ferrell wants Barbie to get in this Barbie box, but she doesn't want to. So Barbie's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And Will Ferrell's like, okay. And then there's a chase sequence through Mattel's corporate office. This whole movie is very Mattel focused. I wonder why. There's a chase through Mattel's corporate office that eventually leads Barbie to encounter this strange character that we haven't met yet. And there's probably, I would say, the best shot in the movie when Barbie walks into this, what appears to be like a metal closet or something, and she's greeted by this character, this older woman with gray hair who, played by someone, I forgot to remember her name. I looked it up earlier. She was someone vaguely, maybe not even, she was someone famous. I don't remember. And there's the shot where this older woman is pouring Barbie tea, and Barbie is sitting, and there's like a window in the center of the shot, and there's light streaming in, and it feels like natural light that we haven't seen a whole lot of inside the Mattel office, but it's also coming in at such an angle where it kind of like emanates a glow onto the center of our table, and we have, it's the best shot in the movie, in my opinion. I really wish this movie just had better signature shots. Like, the 2001 opening is good, but they also took that from 2001. The shot of Barbie meeting this Ruth character, but we don't know that she's called Ruth yet, so ignore that. That's probably my favorite shot in the movie, but I wish there was more of that. It's all shot kind of plainly. I guess that's a nitpick. I don't know. She meets this person, and this person's like, hey there, Barbie. You're cool. And Barbie's like, aw, thanks. I gotta be careful not to mess with my mic. Barbie's like, aw, thanks. And then the older woman is like, you can exit out that way. And then Barbie does. And then then Barbie leaves by hopping over a turnstile, but Will Ferrell and company can't get over this turnstile, so they're trapped there for a couple seconds. And then American Ferrera and her daughter pull up in a car, and she's like, come on in, Barbie. And then Barbie's like, okay. American Ferrera works for Mattel, and she's been doing all these spooky drawings about, like, Afraid of Death Barbie, and Cellulite Barbie, and Chronically Depressed Barbie, etc., etc. And then Barbie and American Ferrera's character talk, and Barbie realizes that American Ferrera is the one playing with Barbie in the real world and is making our Barbie, Margot Robbie, stereotypical Barbie, sad. So, American Ferrera is sad and lonely. She's both sad because of being a woman, patriarchy, but also her daughter's kind of growing apart from her, and she's just kind of less than happy in general, and she's putting that into her Barbie drawings and put into her Barbie play sessions, and then that's affecting Barbie Land, and that's affecting our Barbie, Margot Robbie. Yeah. Okay, so then Margot Robbie realizes what I just said, and the two of them bond, and then Barbie's like, I don't want to be in the real world anymore, I want to go back to Barbie Land, and American Ferrera's like, okay. And then there's a car chase between American Ferrera and Mattel, and it just feels like a Chevy commercial, to the point where I think I could exclusively use clips from the movie and make a convincing Chevy blue SUV or black SUV commercial, if I ever felt like pirating this and then downloading that and then figuring out what font they use in Chevy commercials. Wouldn't be that hard. It also doesn't seem like a whole lot of fun. Anywho, they make it to the entrance to Barbie Land, and then Barbie, American Ferrera, and Sasha, American Ferrera's daughter, are like, all right, to Barbie Land. And they go there, and then, ooh, now we're roller skating. Ooh, now we're camping. Ooh, now we're in space. Ooh, now we're on a snowmobile. And, you know, chip, dialogue. They get back to Barbie Land, only to find that things are drastically different. Ken has taken over Barbie Land with his knowledge of patriarchy and has become like their king. He's king of the Kens. He took over Barbie's house, calling it the Casa Mojo. It's his. Ken takes Barbie's house and calls it the Mojo Dojo Casa House, I believe. It's very fun. Ryan Gosling is so good in this movie. And then we're almost like in the halfway point of the film. Barbie is sad that the patriarchy took over Barbie Land, and she's so sad that she kind of just gives up and just flops over on the ground like a Barbie doll, which is pretty fun. And American Ferrera and her daughter Sasha leave, and then Michael Cera is in the car, and Michael Cera's Alan doesn't like patriarchy because Alan is not a Ken. I don't really know what that means. Maybe that's the trans subtext. I could be wrong. Something. There is no point to trying to divide even an imaginative society into two distinct groups of gender, because what about Alan? I don't know. Maybe. Then Barbie is sad. American Ferrera and Sasha are going to leave, and then Alan is in the car, and he's like, I want to leave Kenland because it sucks for me, Alan. And then Alan has a fist fight with some construction workers who are trying to stop the travel to and from Barbie Land in the real world, and they fist fight, and Michael Cera wins. I don't know. That part's kind of dumb. I might have cut that from the movie, because while that's going on, Sasha, who hated Barbie, is now like, I think we should go back and try to save Barbie Land and help Barbie. And American Ferrera is like, cool. I'm glad you're interested in the story now. They go back. I think they take Barbie to Weird Barbie's house, and another one of the Barbies is there, and then Barbie is upset and no one can soothe her or make her feel better, and all the other Barbies, except for Weird Barbie and Stereotypical Barbie, have been brainwashed by the patriarchy, and they don't want to be Supreme Court justices or presidents or doctors or physicists. They just want to be French maids and wear short shorts and are kind of like slaves? I don't know. the, like, it's hard to interpret Barbie Land as its own society, because where do the Kens sleep? Well, that's not important. They're not real. They don't want to eat, sleep, drink, or anything. They just want to exist and have a good time. But the Barbies also want to be having a good time about women. But Ken clearly has aspirations of his own, and evil Ken has aspirations to egg on Ryan Gosling's Ken. I don't want to touch that right now. I'm sure there is some clean narrative that can be perfectly extracted from this movie if you watch it enough times. After 2 times, I am not comfortable saying I have any of that yet, just bits and pieces. Anywho, American Ferrera makes this speech in front of a bunch of Barbies, weird Barbie, and stereotypical Barbie, about how hard it is to be a woman. Yeah. Yep. Ken gets red-pilled, blah, blah, blah. Alan fights construction workers, we're almost there. Okay, now, when we last left Barbie, she was upset that her world had been turned upside down by Kens and the patriarchy. Yes. Now all of a sudden, Barbie's kind of stereotypical Barbie is upset because she's not important enough, or she doesn't have, like, an extraordinary talent. Which, stereotypical Barbie's character motivations in this movie are kind of confusing. Because now all of a sudden, Barbie needs to be extraordinary, and that's what's upsetting her, and it wasn't the thing we saw in the last scene. And she's no longer particularly interested in making American Ferrera's world better. When you get too in the weeds of analysis... Oh man, my throat's dry. I need water. Anyways, now Barbie's upset about that she's not extraordinary, and American Ferrera delivers this really great monologue about how women don't need to be extraordinary, and how society always is trying to pull women in different directions at once. Like, oh, you need to be, a hard worker, but you need to care about your family. You need to be, you need to love your family, but you can't talk about your kids too much. And a lot of just, like, inherent dilemmas that it comes with being a woman. Did I write down? American... Well done, yeah. American Ferrera makes this wonderful speech about how hard it is to be a woman and what it is to be a woman and what makes that so difficult, and it's really good. And then that snaps one of the background Barbies out of the brainwashing, and then that makes stereotypical Barbie feel better, and then the 3 of them... everyone in this scene... Oh, Weird Barbie's house is also super cool. The set design in this movie is, again, just wonderful. Also, whenever they're on the beach, the sand isn't real. I thought that was a nice touch. Hope this is... Yeah, I think everything's still working. I'm paranoid that it's not. And then they go... Okay, now they hatch this master plan. Oh, also, the Kens in a couple scenes ago were like, in 48 hours, we're going to take over the government and make it all Ken, all man, all forever. So there's like a Cinderella clock, ticking clock thing going on. So the Team Barbies hatch this plan to unbrainwash all the other Barbies and how to basically take back the government, which is like, okay, Barbie, okay, Greta Gerwig, your movie's really taken off. My first watch through, I thought it was like a weird surrealist reaction to Roe v. Wade getting appealed, taken down. I don't know what the judicial term for it is. But a lot of emphasis is placed on women taking power back in the government, and I think that's pretty interesting. Anywho's, so the Barbies slowly unbrainwash the Barbies bit by bit by basically tricking the Kens you trick the Kens into wanting to help you, and then you unbrainwash the other Barbies because, the Kens always want to talk over the Godfather, and the Kens always want to help the Barbies with Photoshop, and that's all fun. Made me reflect on myself as a Ken. As you can tell, I'm vaguely dressed up for this. I put on a whole outfit. I have pink socks on. I look very cute. I'm very sweaty right now, so just imagine me, like, really cute. Okay, thank you. Where was I? Master plan, they're unbrainwashing the Barbies, and then it all culminates in all the Barbies emotionally manipulating the Kens, but again, like American Ferrera says, they took your house, they took over the government, these Kens are the bad guys right now, and Barbie's like, oh, okay. So, the Barbies essentially pit Ryan Gosling Ken versus Simu Liu Ken into this battle. And both of the Kens are really good, and it all culminates with this, like, naval landing, where it's like this busy and kind of messy, but also clearly very well directed scene about the battle between Simu Liu and Ryan Gosling's Ken, and the two of them fight, and they're like, do like a, rah, I'm gonna show my pecs at you, and then there's like sparkles, and then it cuts to a dance sequence. The dancing in this movie, that choreography is amazing, but oh yeah, now Ryan Gosling is singing this song, and Ryan Gosling either has a phenomenal voice or a phenomenal backup singer, because the I Am Ken song is so good, or I'm just Ken, a friend. I don't know all the words, but it's a great song and it's a lot of fun. And the dance battle is wonderful. It goes from this really busy, really messy, which maybe that means it's intentional, like over-directed fight sequence where there's a ton of volleyballs. Also, by the way, the Mattel company is in Barbie Land now. Remember that because they'll be important in like 20 minutes. Yeah, because the FBI needs them to go capture Barbie, and even though they're both back in Barbie Land, I guess Mattel wanted to write themselves into the movie more. Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Anywho, dance battle, it's great. It's, everyone is in these black t-shirts and black pants, and it's so much starker and cleaner, and the choreography is so much more amplified, because you see these probably like, maybe 30 or 40 dancers all working in a line comparing to what came right before, and it's really impressive. Then they sing the song, and then all the Kens are kind of like, whoa, never mind, we're Kens together, and that's something. And then the Kens all come together and no longer have an issue, but it's also, they were supposed to change the government the day they had this battle, and they forget to do that because they're battling, so the Barbies take back all political power in Barbie Land. Yeah. And then they take all political power in Barbie Land, and then all the Kens show back up to Barbie's house, and our main Ken is really sad and upset because, he also, Ken loves Barbie. That's kind of important, at least to Ken. Not really important to the story as a whole. Anywho, Ryan Gosling is really upset. So he goes and cries inside Barbie's house, and he's like, "Oh man, what's the line? Something about da da blah blah blee blue blee blue blee blue blah 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 blah." When I found out the patriarchy wasn't about horses, I lost interest. Wait. Blah, blah, blah. When I found out the patriarchy wasn't about horses, I lost interest anyways. There's some version of that. And then they hit you with, I only exist within the warmth of your gaze. Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig, man, they really wrote a script here. That is a good line. That line is way too good for the Barbie movie. Or maybe it's not. Maybe the Barbie movie is just a really good movie. And I think it is. Anywho, Ken wants to love Barbie, and Barbie's like, hey Ken, you just need to figure out who you are, because you're not Beach, you're not Barbie, you're not patriarchy, you your own person. You are Knuff. Aww. And then Ken's happier. And then they all go downstairs to hang out, and then everyone's having a great time, and then the CEO, Will Ferrell, is there with the rest of the Mattel company, and they're all like, yay, we're all happy too. And then American Ferrera's daughter, Sasha, is like, hey there, Mom, you need to go tell your CEO boss about your sad Barbie ideas. Yeah. And then American Ferrera's like, okay, I guess I will. And she's like, hey, Will Ferrell CEO, I have an idea for a new Barbie doll. She's enough Barbie. Maybe she's a president. Maybe she's not. Maybe she just wants to get through the day by just being happy. And Will Ferrell's like, that idea is dumb. And then someone behind him is like, that's going to make a lot of money. And then Will Ferrell is like, that's a great idea. And that just kind of seems like the whole Barbie movie in a nutshell. I don't know. And then, then everyone's happy, Barbie's happy, Ken is happy, Ken is wearing his Your Knuff sweater. Buy that now before, they're out. This Christmas, buy them now. Buy the Knuff sweater. You will buy the You Are Knuff sweater. There's a lot about consumerism that this movie's trying to say, but it's weird. I'll circle back to that, hopefully. Everyone's happy. Then this woman shows back up, the woman from earlier, Ruth. She says her name is Ruth. She says her name is Ruth Handler, and that she invented Barbie. And now Ruth is here to talk to Barbie again. And Barbie is now like, I think I want to go back to the real world. And Ruth is like, you're an idea. Ideas are forever. If you become a real person, you have to deal with real people issues. And you have to, you die in the end. And Barbie's like, yeah, I think I want that. And it's really beautiful. The whole rest of the world kind of fades away so that these two can have their scene. So right before that, the Barbies have taken power back. The Kens are happy, and they have a little bit more political power. They get like a circuit court judge, and they're all really happy about that because they get to wear robes. The daughter and the mom are happy. Their relationship is tighter, and now Barbie has decided that she wants to become a real person. Cut to Barbie in the car with American Ferrera. American Ferrera's Duolingo playing husband, and their daughter Sasha and Barbie. And then Barbie walks in and says, I'd like an appointment with a gynecologist, please. And then the movie ends. Ha ha ha, gynecologist joke. Yeah. That's the plot. That's most of it. Did I miss anything? No, blah, 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 blah. Opening, Helen Mirren narration, set design is great. Can't hitting the wave. Oh, the cast is really good in this. There are 3 sex education alumni. There's the girl with the pink hair. She's one of the Barbies. I think she's one of the French-made Barbies. I forget what her job was before that. I think she's a physicist. She likes pants. She wants to wear pants. I remember that. Pink hair girl from Sex Education is in it. The guy with the big dick, who's son of the principal, is in it. He plays a Mattel intern. And then one of the Kens is the guy from Ender's Game's gay black best friend. I don't really remember what he does in Sex Education. I've not seen that show in a long time. But 3 people, all from one show, that I thought was interesting. Blah, blah, blah. Shot where Barbie meets Weird, yeah. Oh, the shot where when stereotypical Barbie meets Weird Barbie is really cool because the house is jagged and colorful, but not in a pastel way. It clashes with everything we've seen beforehand, and you've got like Kate McKinnon up in like the middle of the shot behind a window, light beaming down behind her with her legs spread open, and you've got Barbie in this blue and white dress skirt thing that is not matching with anything else in the room, kind of looking up at her. It's a really nice shot. I wish there was more of really interesting, intentional looking shots like that. That's a cinematography thing, though. Margot Robbie's great. Weird Matrix reference. Blame Mattel, don't blame me. I don't like Mattel as a character in this movie because you can tell. I don't know if you. I was never inside a writer's room, but it feels weird that Mattel is included as much as they are in this movie. They're an antagonist, but they're not the main antagonist, and they're not even really that bad. They're just a bunch of rich guys taking ideas from women. That's as bad as the movie is allowed to call Mattel. Barbie, the character, can be called a product of consumerism and encouraging mass consumption and setting the feminist movement back decades, but Mattel never really gets that insulted. They're portrayed as dumb by Will Ferrell, but not anything to be challenged, really. Which I think is interesting. Buy the Knuff sweater, go see the Barbie movie, buy the Knuff sweater, put yourself in the box, make memes for us. I don't know, it's all icky. But, you know, there is an auteurist vision here by Greta Gerwig, and the movie is really good, but it's also Mattel's movie. And a lot of the money is going to go, most of the movie is going to go to Mattel and Warner Brothers. Alright, so it turns out the microphone wasn't picking anything up for the last who knows how long. I don't know. Barbie has a lot to say about what it means to be a man, and what it means to be a man interacting with women, and what it means to be a woman, and what it means to be a woman dealing and interacting with men, and also just what it means to be a person in general, and what it means to be part of the people that make ideas and people that make meaning, and that's really cool. Barbie, for $14, I definitely think is worth seeing. It's very hot in this car, and I just recorded an hour of stuff, and I have no idea how much of it is usable now. So I'm kind of upset about that, and it's hot in the car, and I need to buy eggs, and my car also smells like cat food. So, thank you for watching this. I don't know how long this will be, because I don't know how much stuff actually recorded, which is really frustrating. But it is what it is. So, bye-bye. I'll do a pen review eventually. I wanted to do this. Good night.